Hey guys, hope y'all are well today. I want to talk about starting an English Pokemon card business. Now, I've been in this for 5 years. I started right before when COVID hit. So I've been through one of these booms, and now we're in another one. And first, I have some booster box here for display, some of my favorite sets, and of course some Journey Together ETBs, but just for fun. But today we're focusing on starting a Pokemon card business in English specifically, selling English cards. And I want to just warn you guys about some of the things I noticed in the last 5 years, going through the boom and the slow times, and just starting out as a normal person, average, with no connections, nothing, just starting out from scratch. And I want to let you guys know, not by no means am I saying that I'm successful. I have amassed quite a lot of product, and so I've got a lot of stories to talk about from getting these products in the last 5 years. But I just want to show you guys that hopefully one day I will be successful in this. But in the last 5 years, I have learned a lot, quite a lot, and made quite a few mistakes, as you probably will too if you're starting out. So I just want to warn you guys about what the things that you do want to avoid, or at least be aware that these will happen, and think about these before you start, so when you encounter them you won't be surprised. So the main things I want to address today is, first, you're gonna have problems with supply, distribution, and time management, and cash flow. Those are the four things that I really noticed in the last 5 years. And first, the most obvious that I want to talk about, everyone knows this, but we still need to address it briefly, is, in case you're completely new and you have no idea about this, supply. Supply is extremely difficult. The easiest supply to get Pokemon cards is Japanese cards. You can just hit up someone in Japan through Instagram, Facebook, and you can get supply to your door next week. For English, it's different. You need to go through what's called distributors most of the time, unless you're trying to go to Walmart and scalp the product, except it doesn't work when the markets are slow. When the markets are slow, it's not going to work, even if you manage to be first in line, because no one's going to buy it. You're going to buy the product from Walmart and sell it at a loss, because most things go under MSRP during the slow times. That's a thing to note. So that's why you can go either of two ways. First, starting out, this is how I started out. You go on Facebook Marketplace, or whatever local marketplace, and you look for good deals, people selling out. It's not really in the busy, crazy market times like now, but during slow times you can often find good deals of people selling out. And I even tried buying mint vintage cards and grading them, and it works pretty well. Even with modern cards, if you go and scavenge Facebook, you will find deals that you can flip, and that's a way, especially when the market's slow. However, the reason why it's difficult is that takes a lot of time. Or if you go the official route, you want to start an LLC, or you want to start a official company registered with the government, you will likely try and go to a distributor. Most distributors do not take online stores, small stores. You need a physical brick and mortar store. That requires a lot of overhead and a lot of capital in order to start one, and it's a huge risk. I would recommend all who are starting to start online, start with Facebook, whatever, find the way to get product and start online, because you're way less overhead. And the problem with this supply is that it's really hard to get a distributor. When it's slower, I will tell you guys, the way to get it is when it's slow, like when I started, it was really slow, not too much attention. Even with the online store, you can convince them to let you have an account. A lot of the distributors, especially the smaller ones, will entertain online accounts, or even online. Like, I was just selling off eBay and they entertained it. Maybe I was lucky, but one of the distributors is one of the biggest in Canada that I got an account with while being an online store. I emailed them once a week for 2 years straight, called them until they finally gave me an account. You need to be persistent. It may take 2 years, but it's not an easy game. It may take 2 years, it may take 5 years, it may only take 1 week, but you need to have determination and persistence in getting supply. one of the biggest things I noticed from people who have asked me, how can I start? Can I just go on the website? And what are these secret suppliers? No. There's a public list of distributors on Pokemon's website. You can go and find them in your area. And you just to be persistent. You need to have the right approach and be persistent. Set up your online store, set up your physical store, whatever approach you take. Be persistent and you will succeed in getting the account if you're persistent enough. 99% of the time. Now next, let's talk about supply, distribution. By this, I mean selling. Because how are you going to sell? You basically have 3 options to sell. 1, sell locally, Facebook Marketplace. 2, you can sell on your website, make your own website. 3, you can sell on eBay. Marketplaces like eBay that sell worldwide. First, local marketplaces. Places like Facebook. The problem with this is, 1, you have a lot of lowballers. 2, you have a lot of no-shows, and it takes a lot of time. But it's doable. Everything is doable. All these I'm mentioning is just the errors you need to watch out for, but they're all doable. Keep that in mind. But Facebook, you're going to have a lot of no-shows, and you can't collect tax. No one is going to come and say, I'm going to pay you tax on this. And usually, so that means you're basically, it's coming out of your pocket for the tax money. And also, usually the price is lower on Facebook because there's a lot of people just trying to quick sell, bulk sell, whatever. So usually your price is lower and people are always trying to negotiate. Second, selling on eBay. I started with this personally and it was pretty good because you have a wide reach. The only thing is you need to find your own way to market your products or build an audience or of loyal customers, and it's pretty hard on eBay because not many returning customers, and eBay's fees are crazy. I could make an hour-long video alone complaining about eBay because of the horrible experiences I've had as a seller in the last 5 years that you would need to watch out for, but that is a pretty viable method to get started. The problem is a lot of sellers, big sellers like P Football Pete, he's got so much product and he's got probably a deal with eBay. You're not going to beat his price, basically what I'm saying. So it's hard to compete with a global market with way bigger sellers who have way cheaper prices because they're getting better deals than you from distribution. And then the third method is using your own website. This is a really good method because low fees, because all you have to pay is the payment processing fee, and but the really difficult part is driving traffic to your site. I've recently started trying to work on this, and it's going to be my journey in the next couple of years to build this site, build this brand, and hopefully build an audience through YouTube as well. Because you need people that trust you and like you as a person, as a brand, to be successful on your own site. But you don't have to lean on other people. You don't have to lean on eBay and pay them a 20% fee and depend on their case making decisions. And it's just way better on your own. You have a lot more freedom, and you're building something with value, because you can't sell an eBay store, but you can sell a company that you built on your Shopify, your Wix store. I can make tons of videos about each of these methods because I've done them all, and some I've succeeded, some I've failed, some I'm in the process of hopefully one day succeeding. But those are the methods. Next, I want to talk about is cash flow problems. Because if you look around here, I got several cases here, some booster box, ETBs, tins. There's everything, so much stuff, so much inventory. And where do you get the money to do this? You're gonna like use your 9 to 5, use that, but what about your bills? So it's gonna be hard to get enough capital to amass and buy all this product. You may take out a loan. It's risky, but I've done it as well. I've done all the crazy stuff, and you could too. You could. And if you really want to take the risk, and high risk, high reward, if you're really dedicated, you can do it. Really, all it takes is hard work. And I'm just telling you about the problems you'll come across along the way. Cash flow is going to be a huge problem because you just don't have that money. You can't afford to sit on these cases. Even I can't afford to sit on these cases. That's why I'm saying I'm selling them, because I can't afford to sit on these cases forever. As a business, you're not an investor. You need cash flow. You need to churn through your product. And especially when the markets get slow, boy, is it brutal. Because you got to buy from the distributors and you're selling basically break even or even losing. It's a tough game when it's low, but it really pays off when the market cycles back to the hype seasons and the distributors treat you well. So if you're able to effectively manage your cash flow, find a way to get sales no matter what, and return your capital and stock up on the stuff. Stock up on these bucks. I bought these at wholesale prices when they were released, and then you can sell them now when Chilling Reign is 400, 500 a box, and Astral Radiance is 200, 300, 400 a box. You can sell them, but you paid wholesale for it, and you can sit on them when they're slow. But when it's crazy like now, you just can't afford to sit on. The opportunity cost is insane. The value you're gonna lose out on when the market crashes in a year or two is insane. That's a huge issue I struggled with. Even I've taken out loans, and it's probably not the smartest idea, but you don't have starting cap. I've tried it all. I've tried every single method. No one told me what to do. I made a lot of mistakes, and so far they haven't killed me yet, and I've been doing way better in the last 2 years. But I made a lot of mistakes, and you can go down that route because it's best to learn by your own experiences. But yeah, you may have to resort to that to raise capital, but I suggest you start small, buy $100 off Facebook and flip it for 150 and just build your way up from there, because I did start like that too. But just be aware, don't get too attached to product like me, and you're just gonna have to find a way to churn through it, because cash flow is a huge problem for selling cardboard. And lastly, one of the biggest issues that I encountered that I never would have thought of when I started out, and you probably aren't thinking of it, most people don't talk about it, is time management. When you start off a business, any business, you can't just go and quit your job, desert your family, even if you live alone, live on the street and start selling Pokemon cards. You can't do that. So you're gonna work your 9 to 5, whatever job you got. You're gonna spend time with your family, your friends, and what time does it leave you with to build your brand, build your company? It requires a lot of time sacrifice. You're gonna be sitting in a basement, in a garage, at 12 a.m., 1 a.m., packing orders, making listings, and even at 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 6 p.m., after work, you're gonna be sitting there while your friends are out, your family's out, and you're gonna have to sacrifice a bit. And you're gonna be there alone, but you still have to push through and work on it. And I'm pretty sure you can ask anyone who's built their own business, not even business, just Pokemon card business, but business in general. They've been through those days where you're lonely, you're alone, you're just sitting there doing work for something you want to build, which is just required. And most people overlook this because they don't realize how much time it takes to list. If I have 1,000 different items here and I want to list them all, it's gonna take me a month or more to list it. And you got stuff, you gotta go to work, you gotta do whatever extra things outside of work, family, friends, all that. You gotta balance, you gotta find a balance. But you're gonna be grinding, especially for the first few years when you got no repeat customers, you got nothing, you're grinding. So be prepared to spend a lot of time, a lot more than you think, packing orders, like putting in a bubble wrap, putting in a box, putting in an envelope. It takes a lot longer than I thought it would take, and probably more than you think if you've never done this before, and making that sale. But I will tell you, there's a lot of benefits, because building something that you love as a company, it's really rewarding. It feels really nice. And when you look at your phone and you hear a ching and it's a sale, even if it's $5, $10, you still feel happy. There's something special about building your own company, and I don't deny that. I don't dispute that. It's been a great journey in the last 5 years, despite all the struggles and mistakes that I've made. It's probably way more than other people. But these are a ton of things that you need to watch out for if you're just starting out, that I noticed in myself, a lot of problems. And I've been slowly working to fix them, and I've fixed a couple of them, and a couple of them are in progress. And they caused me a lot of stress, a lot of lost sleep, a lot of clutter in my mind, when these happen for months, and maybe it sends you to a spiral if you're not prepared for them. Because it's truly depressing if you put your time and energy to send someone $500-600 worth of product that you put your blood, sweat, and tears in, and they file a chargeback with some crap saying that you send them a box of rocks when you sent them an Evolving Skies booster box, right? It's emotionally damaging and draining at times. But if you want to build something you're proud of, happy of, there are sacrifices and there are a lot of problems along the way, and that's why it's a tough game. Stuff with low barriers of entry, they're tough to rise to the top. Or yeah, because if anyone can get in, how are those big companies that you see, those big hobby stores at the top? Because those owners, they worked hard for it, and be prepared to do that. So keep in mind those 4 things I mentioned. You will encounter them along the way, and I hope to see you at the top, and for you to build your business, build your brand successfully in a way that you will experience these problems, because you will experience these problems if you go all the way. So hopefully you guys learn something important about this, and hopefully it can help you succeed in building your company. So yeah, that's it. Let me know if you've been working on your company, any problems. Maybe I can help, maybe you can teach me something. That's gonna be it for today. See you guys.